Hi there, this is video 320. And it's another practice of principle of inclusion and exclusion, or just a two-circle Venn diagram. You can use either one. On the first one, I actually set it up so that we can try both. So what I would like you to do is pause the video now and draw your diagram and see how far you can get, and hopefully you can get all the way through. All right, I'm going to trust you pause the video. So again, here's my Venn diagram. Oops. In a school, all the students play either football or volleyball or both. Okay, so that part tells me that football, volleyball are both. So I know one circle is going to be football, one's going to be volleyball, and this part tells me they intersect, and it tells me that there's actually some people in there. It also tells me, although not directly, that there's, I'm just going to put a 0 there. There's nobody at this school that doesn't play either of those. That makes sense? Right? If you remember the last video we did, sorry, I'm going to flip back to this one. Right? This is video 319. Just notice my numbering is off. Okay. See, we had 1,400 people here. For this first example, we didn't have anybody in the background. And sorry, make that change before I forget. All right. So 300 students play football. I'm going to put the 300 beside football, but it doesn't tell me, doesn't say just football. So I know in this football circle, there needs to be 300. And it says 270 play volleyball and 120 play both. So that's the magic number. 120 is in the middle. So now that you've got that far, now take the time, figure out how many play just football. So we have 300 that play football, minus 120 that play both. Right, we already counted those. So that leaves us 180 that play football only. Right, now that you've seen that, you'll be able to do the volleyball one real easy. So there's a total of 270 students that play volleyball, minus 120 that also play football. So there are our 4 magic numbers. There's the football only, there's both, and there's volleyball only. And you know what? I highlight that, not that you need to put that in there, but that just reminds me that nobody plays them. So answering my questions, now that I got my picture all happy, football only, 180 students. Volleyball only, 150 students. Now, to find the total number, I'm going to get to the formula in a second. So 180 only, 120 is both, and 150 is volleyball only. So 180 plus 120 plus 150 is 450 total. Yeah, I challenged you to use the formulas. Let's see which one's going to make sense. Well, you know what? Let's try this one. It's the first one. So the number of football or volleyball is the number of football plus the number of volleyball minus the number of football and volleyball. Okay. My camera down for you. So it's the same thing, except everywhere there was an A, I was putting F for football. And everywhere there was a B, I was using V for volleyball. So the question says 300 play football plus 270 play volleyball minus 120 play both. We hope it's going to be 450. So our formula worked out. You have to be careful in case it worked because this is going to give you your total. It's talking about union. So it's the total of everything in the center. So if you want to use that formula, you either have to have nobody that's not in the circles, not in the union, or you have to take account for that first. Either one is fine. But again, because I had to answer all these other questions, for me, making the Venn diagram is so much better. All right. So in a school of 150 students, okay, so I know my total right now, pass extent 10 standard exams. 95 students applied for group 1 and 85 students applied for group 2 in a higher secondary course. If 20 students didn't apply for either group, how many applied for both? Okay. Gonna do my Venn diagram. I'm gonna make it bigger just because I feel like it's making stuff squishy. You know what? I would like you to pause the video. See how, do it yourself. Let's see if we get the same answer. All right. Now, let's look at what we got. Kind of like, what are our numbers? So I've got 150, I've got 82, I've got 20. Oh, and I got 95 there. There's 150 in total. All right. And then the two circles, it looks like we have group 1 and group 2. There we go. Now, before we go any further, what are we going to write? 95 students applied for group 1. And I always put those kind of on the outside in brackets because that's not a final answer. If it said 95 students applied for group 1 only, then I would know it would be just this crescent shape out here. but this is 95 in the grand total. Okay, now 82 apply for here. We're good. And 20 didn't apply for either group. So the 20 goes out there. So unlike all the other questions, this one, we have to figure out the intersection first, okay? Obviously, they're the ones that are a little trickier and you got to play around with. To be honest, students showed me how to do this last year and I've forgotten. It's been a year since I've done it. Let's muddle through it together. Well, if there's 150 altogether and there's 20, hold on, I like to color. Let's figure out how many are in the circle first. Now these 20 are the ones that didn't apply. I don't know what this in the union. So in my circle has to be 130 students. Let's see if the math works out right now. There is 95 in the G1 circle. And there's 82 in the G2 circle. So what's that? I don't know, it's over 130, isn't it? 95 plus 82 is equal to 177. So what that means is there were students that got counted twice. And here it's telling us that there are some students in here that got counted twice. Remember, that's what happens. So if there's 177, and that's from here, and there's supposed to be 130, if we subtract, we'll get the students that were counted twice. That's how we end up with more than we were supposed to. So where does the 47 go? Where in the picture are the students that were counted twice? Exactly. 47 goes there. So now I can finish off my circle. Well, I guess technically my question's done, but I hate leaving it. So over here, we're going to go 95 minus 47. That's going to give me 48 there. And this also allows me to check everything. 82, whoopsies, over here I'm going to go 82 minus the 47 I already counted. It's 35. So now, if I count this, and this, and this, and this, I really hope I get that. If not, something went wrong. So 48 plus, so that's ones that are in group 1 only, apply to group 1 only, plus 47. Those are the ones that apply to both group 1 and 2, plus the 35 that applied to group 2 only, plus the 20 that didn't apply to either of those. Yes, there we go. We are golden. We have the 150. Homework. Don't forget to do your homework. Okay. We're going to try. I'm going to use the formula. I don't know if it's going to make it any better for us. Number G1 or G2. Whoops. Better go like that. is equal to the number G1 plus the number G2 minus the number and G1 G2. So again, I am using this formula from lesson 320. Okay. And I'm just replacing. So G1, G2, G1, G2 minus that. The trick here is going to be, because this is the union, that's the green area that I highlighted here. We have to remember that's not the 150. We're going to have to put 130 there because we got to get rid of these guys first. Equal to G1, which was 95. Right, there's 95 students that applied for group 1 plus 82 students that applied for group 2 minus the number in G1 and G2. Because this is the one we don't know, right? I know we know it there, and we did our calculations to get there, but this is using the formula to get the same answer. So 130 equal to 95 plus 177 minus the number in G1 and G2. So that's my overlap. So all I did was I just put these together. Because once you have the formula, you're just doing order of operations. So now I'm going to subtract 177 from both sides. So I have just this by itself. So 130 minus 177. Okay, so it's going to give me minus 47, which honestly is making me panic a little bit, but I know what's going on. Minus and 1 and 2. Usually if I'm counting things and I end up with a negative number, it's like, oh, really screwed that up, didn't I? But notice here, there's a negative here, there's a negative on that side. So to finish this off, divide by -1, divide by -1, and I ran out of room. And I'm going to get 47 is equal to the number in G1 and G2, which is how many applied to both. So there is the same answer. So it's up to you. I think you already know. I prefer to do it this way. This just looks scary, but good practice. I think occasionally you might run into a problem where you have to do that. But I'm not sure. I think everyone I've done, I've been able to do, just reason it out. Sometimes you end up guessing in the middle and adjusting, but it still works. All right, end of the video. Thank you. Have a lovely day.